So I just got home from driving to Woodinville, where I picked up the Mammoth trailer. On my ride home from Woodinville, I blew a tire out. So one of these is not like the other. So yeah, it turns out accidents will strike even when I'm not on a trip, just preparing for trips. The news, guys. I have too many vehicles. Unfortunately, I want to dial it back. I want to make smart financial moves while I'm having the opportunities that I'm having, if that makes sense. I just kind of woke up one day and I was like, man, there's just too much going on right now. Too many vehicles to maintain, too many engines on the property. The amount of engines on this property, it's insane. But I really love my collection. The problem I'm having is that I can't individually pick one vehicle and be happy with the decision to sell it. I mean, just look at my Instagram page. I've been saying I'm gonna sell this one, I'm gonna sell this one, I'm gonna sell this one, right? No, hold up, we're gonna sell this one. And that doesn't help me at all either, because every time I do that, I get everyone being like retorting. Everyone's like, no, you can't sell the Land Cruiser. Don't sell the crawler. How could you sell the crawler? Don't you even look at the 3rd gen Tacoma? What about the Subi gang? Oh, the Polaris, they're like, yeah, you can sell that, it's actually fine. This is the bulk of my collection, and I want to go through each one, show you guys some cool top memories of it. What better place to start than my new 2022 Toyota Tundra? You hear all those beeps and chimes? That's basically what I've began to associate with this truck. It's just non-stop beeps and chimes, but it is a really sweet truck. It looks really, really good. It tows really well. It feels good. It gets excellent gas mileage. But it's the newest, and it has the most to prove still. There's not a whole lot I can say about this truck yet. It only has 10,000 miles on it. I can say that it's left me stranded a few times. Got some body damage really, really easily, and it's starting to grow on me after we chopped the grille in half and added the CBI bumper. Worst thing about it now is the wheels and tires. And once I get those on, I think I'm really gonna love this truck. Until that happens though, it's still just a very basic economy truck for the everyday dude. I have just been a little bit disappointed with the truck so far. If you want to know more about that, check out my 10 things I hate about my Tundra video. It has a long ways to go. I think wheels, tires, lift is going to make a huge difference, obviously. Then it'll just come down to using it, and hopefully we'll make really, really awesome memories. It's a V6 twin turbo. It gets anywhere between 16 to 20 miles per gallon, seats 5, and it can tow. Next, we have my wife's Toyota Land Cruiser FJ62. This is a 1989. It has an inline 6 automatic transmission, 4-wheel drive, no lockers, but it is solid axle. If you know anything about Land Cruisers, they're known for not only their super elegant, classy style, especially the 62, in my opinion, but for their toughness. These things are supposed to be incredibly resilient, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a car that was just incredibly resilient and strong. Look, I'm not worried that the windows won't roll up right now. Like little tiny things like that, not a big deal. I get that, that's old car stuff. The flickering lights, that's old car stuff. That's not a big deal. I wanted a tank. What's the show? What's the show? Narcos. I was watching Narcos and I saw this beautiful FJ62 and I was like, yep, gotta have it. And so I showed my wife because she wanted a Jeep Cherokee and I was like, eh. I showed her these and she was like, what is that? And she loved it. But the problem is that we had some really bad situations with this thing. We've had really bad luck. The transmission blew on Christmas. We were stranded. We had to tow it all the way up to Canada where we froze our asses off. It was complete misery. We got robbed right in front of her. I dove into this window of this car, and anyways, that's a whole video. And we brought it back and it had a couple more issues. It blew a coolant line, the battery died on her, the alternator went out, it ran out of fuel because the gauge was working, but the gauge wasn't working. So she's associated this car with negative feelings, and so she doesn't want to drive it. She'll take another car. This is a 1998 4-cylinder. I don't know, this thing's a Frankenstein, man. It's like a limited cab body on a single cab frame that's chopped in the front and the back. It's double bobbed. It's on 39-inch BFG KM3s, relation race wheel beadlocks. These are hybrids. You can switch them in or out, which is super cool. My dude Jaden at Walker Fab Lab created this insane cage. It even has my logos right in it, which was such a cool touch. I didn't even ask for this kind of stuff. I just came and showed up, and there it was. Super cool. Walker Fab Lab. Look at these bends. Like, they just remind me of like a 90s Toyota. This thing is so rad. And this, I've been avoiding trying to, I knew if I made this video, if I came out here, if I drove this truck, just driving it from over there to here, made me instantly regret listing it for sale. Instantly. It's so freaking cool. Huge spare tire here. I just got it done. Haven't even really gone and used it in its form yet, but it needs a few things, and I just don't really want to put the time into it. I don't have the time. I blew out the front and rear ring and pinion, and it sat there like over in my driveway for most of its life. So it is a lot of fun. Oh, I blew out second and third gear, or was it third and fourth? I blew out third and fourth in this on a snow run, and had to do a transmission change. That was gnarly. The axle shaft fell out of it at King of the Hammers. That was crazy. And then the radiator got exploded because a ball went through it. It's just a magnet for accidents. It's definitely the way I drive it, but I haven't really even driven it that much. Then we have the OG, right? This is the Yeti off-road. I don't know if anybody followed me on Instagram back then. Let me know in the comments, because that's crazy. Basically, this is what got me into doing YouTube. This truck, from its loins, all of these were possible. For real. This truck, honestly, has changed my life in so many ways. It's insane. Long story short, I bought a 3rd gen Tacoma, brand new. I told my wife, I'm going to start an Instagram page because I have this lift kit for it. I think it'll fit. I don't know if it'll fit, but I wanted to lift this thing like right away and put it on Instagram because I had seen a bunch of builds. I was following builds. I was following DEFCON Bricks. And long story short, she said that was ridiculous. Here we are. That started it all. And now it's become this craziness. This truck has long travel from Camberg, 3.5-inch long travel, King shocks, advanced fiberglass body. It's got a super cool wrap from CW Wraps. We need to do a full build walk around. It's got Heretic lights, CBI armor. This thing has it all. This has been around the longest. It's the most built, and most of the work I had done myself originally, and then on this recent rebuild, I've been getting professional help. And so that truck is really cool, and it's been through a lot of really cool, videos. Most of my videos are with this truck. Yes, the Subaru STI. This is a 600 horsepower all-wheel drive Subaru STI. 600 at the wheels. That's all the wheels, each and every one of them. According to the guy that sold it to me on Facebook. I really don't know. I've never had it dynoed, but if you saw the parts list, the parts lists are insane. I'm not a car guy. I literally just have always wanted a Subaru STI. It didn't even matter how fast it went. I just wanted a Subaru STI. It's super cool. It's crazy fast. It sounds amazing. It spits fire. It has launch control. It's so nice. It corners like a dream. So on beautiful evenings when the sun is low, I'll take this car out and just go get like mental relief, a mental break. It's like when I can get in my own zone, which used to be motorcycle riding for me. And I don't ride motorcycles on the street much at all anymore. Sold all the bikes after getting in the fire service because I saw a lot of people just chopped up. So instead I was driving this. And then it kind of dawned on me the other night that this thing is gonna have me dying in a ball of fire someday. I kind of realized, hey, you know what? Maybe that one should go, right? Like, it doesn't fit the channel at all. But every time I get in it, I love it so much. The Polaris has been awesome. This Polaris I got Christmas of 2019. This is the 2020 Polaris Pro XP4 Turbo. It is like fully decked out. It has all like the best stuff on it. After I wrecked my Can-Am, this is what we got to replace it so that we could have 4 seats, take the kids with us, listen to music, and I actually wanted to do an overland build from it at some point, but it's kind of become the farm rig. Like in the back seat right now, the seats fold flat and there's tons of like cargo area. We have like a sprayer, barbed wire, garbage. The back of it, it's just filled with tools, like machetes, fence post slammers, torches. That kind of tells you some of the work that we have to do out here on this farm. The Polaris is super useful. It was on the chopping block until summer came around and we started using it again. And then we were like, dude, we need that thing. We got farm hands people that use this stuff and they can just hop in this thing and go use it. And I'm not worried about it. It's already kind of beat up, so it's just when I have my trucks or like when my trucks are like that, I can't really use them for this kind of stuff. And so something with like cheap plastic doors where you can replace all that stuff easy. The Polaris is great. And then if I want to go to the sand dunes, I can just pressure wash it up, take it to the dunes, and it just does everything you want to do. This we lovingly named the Sex Panther. It's a Bobcat 175S with steel tracks, and we coated it in black Raptor liner. Heretic Studio LEDs, pretty badass. If you were paying attention, you might have noticed that most of my vehicles have Heretic Studio LEDs. That's because Heretic LEDs are made 100% in the United States with USA sourced materials. With Heretic, not only do you get a unique design and awesome look, you get top tier quality LEDs that will outshine the competition. You can check them out by clicking the link below. It helps me out a ton when you use these links, so thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the video. It's a vehicle, and not just a vehicle, it's an overlanding vehicle. We should put a tent on it. We should take it overlanding. Can you imagine skid steer overlanding? This sucker is a workhorse. Like, we've done so much on this property. I've made dozens of roads. I've brought in thousands and thousands of tons of dirt and rock and moved it with this thing. It helps tremendously with the pond. It delivers hay to the cattle. It has been awesome. I recently got this grapple bucket for it so we can move logs when we tore my barn down. It has been incredible. I think I paid 14 grand for it a couple years ago, and it does have some issues. It's hard to start. I think the glow plugs are going out, but it's always been trusty. It's always started. It's always worked, except for that one time when it got stuck in the road because there was water in the tank. But other than that, it's incredible. Moving on from the herd, this one over here wouldn't start. It's having some electrical problem, smoke coming out from under the dash. But this is our 1987 Ford F600 dump truck. They put some kind of big block in this thing. It has a fresh rebuild, but what they didn't tell me was that it had electrical issues behind the dash. And so it's causing a draw on the battery, and it has a dead battery. You can drive it around for a while. If you jump start it, it'll start to smoke from behind the dash. Hydraulic bed, super sturdy. This thing's badass. I haul 7 tons of rock at a time with this thing. That's my go-to number. It could do more for sure. 7 tons, it's its sweet spot. You can brake easily. It's been a ton of fun. We replaced our Ford F600 dump truck, the 1963 dump truck, for this one just because it's sturdier, it has power steering, all the lights work great, it has a hitch, which is huge, and it just works better. The only thing I've done to it so far is my buddy Mike and I put this hitch on it. It's just a regular receiver hitch, so pintle hitch above, regular receiver hitch below, and this is just chopped off of Mike's Suburban. Mike really did all the work, but there it is. And then we shimmed the back with these little deals to keep this from bouncing around, and then added plates here that bolt through the bed to keep this from bouncing. Last of the four-wheelers, we have the Mighty Moose Knuckle. This truck was named during an epic adventure to King of the Hammers, and that was the first time we really used it in this. So it's been around, it's been on some ice, we took it to Canada. It's done a lot for us so far. It had a weird chime or alarm go off, but other than that we haven't had any major issues. it's in total project mode. It smells like adventure in here. But this truck used to be a Snap-on truck, and it was purchased by a hydroplane race team in the late 90s who converted it to an RV/mobile shop. And so they put a bunch of work into it to make it tow. They turbocharged it, they put airbags on it, it has 2 air compressors, the back door folds down, it's an elevator lift, and they used it to like do motor swaps on these huge boats. So super cool backstory to that, and you guys can check out our build so far. This winter we're gonna get really into it. We have a ton of cool parts from Dometic. Like the whole back room is full of really cool Dometic parts, and so this thing is going to really transform. Should we check out the bikes? The only reason they're kind of applicable to this story is because it's 2 more engines to maintain, and 3 more. And 3 more projects, you know, 3 more things. And all these toys in no shop, I honestly don't even know how I'm supposed to enjoy them. I used to ride all the time. I used to commute on motorcycles. I really like it. This is my Husqvarna TE449. It's street legal. It's 2014. It's fuel injected, super smooth. All the shocks are set up for my weight, so it feels really good. And it is patiently waiting here for a bath. Lastly is this very special Honda XL250. It's real echoey in there, so I'll tell you out here. That bike belonged to a good friend of mine. His name was Alex, and he passed away in 2016. That bike belongs to Alex, and his parents gave it to me. I was going to do a cafe racer build with it back in the day, something that I thought Alex would have liked, but I just don't really have it in me to change it at all. In here, we have my Paramotor and its wing and its accessories. The Paramotor is incredible. It's a 185cc Viterazzi Moster engine from Italy. It's belt driven, 2-stroke. Now this thing allows me to literally, and I've done it, take off from this spot right here, off this hillside, and fly over to those black hills where all the clouds are, effortlessly. It's incredible. It's one of the most amazing sports I ever take part in. I absolutely love it. Unfortunately, I've just been too tired lately at the end of the day. I've had really full days. I haven't really felt like it's safe to fly. When I can hardly hold my arms up, hold this camera up, I probably shouldn't be hurling myself through space. Recently, I converted part of my side yard and front yard into this little miniature arena, and it's where a very special friend of mine lives. Come here, buddy. And he's the last vehicle in our collection. Technically, he was a vehicle, or his ancestors were a vehicle. What's up, Cowboy? Hey, buddy. So pretty. I need to clean out your enclosure today. That's what we're gonna do right after this. Yep. So this is his dry lot. Obviously, he only spends his nights here, and then he goes out into the paddock. But this is my horse. He's a good friend. Hey, Cowboy. He sees I left the fence open. He's going for it. Cowboy. Hey, whoa. Whoa, you listen up. I see you. Whoa. You son of a bitch. We need to put this on. If I can get him to the point where he's responsive enough to where I can ride him out there, I can go get the cows, lure them back, or herd them back with Cowboy without having all the mess of tearing up the roads. We have to rebuild an entire path at the end of this year before winter. It's super rutted and nasty. We just took the Polaris through there, and I recently got it stuck. And that's all from going out to the cow pasture to either get the cows or deliver them hay or medicine or whatever, or check fence lines, when if we had done that all on horseback, that road would still be pristine. Like, I really want to shop. It's kind of sucky to have all these cool toys and like no place to work on them. And so if I have to let a few things go in order to build that shop, I think that's the right thing to do. Long story short, I need your guys' help because I like everything almost equally. Like, it all has its own special purposes. It all has its own like awesome thing that it feeds or that it does for me, you know? But there's a couple of them that could have pretty strong arguments not to keep around. And so I'm going to be selling some stuff off from this fleet so I can build my shop. And then once the shop's built and the venue's done, hopefully that'll generate new income and we can get better stuff, cooler stuff, you know, but we just don't need all this stuff at once right now when I don't have a shop. So that's basically it. That's the collection. I hope that it didn't come across like incredibly douchey, because I'm not trying to like be like, whoa, look at all this crazy shit. I think it's out of control, honestly, and I just have a hard time letting any of it go because it was all just such sweet finds, and at the time it just made total perfect sense. But now that I want something different than cars, I don't know. What do I sell though? What do I sell? Just showing you this video has brought such clarity. I'm realizing all at once, this is too many vehicles. It's so many. So that's it for today's video. Oh shit, oh shit. Oh, my knee's bad. Get some work done this week, but don't forget to live. Bye.